I mean, the relationship between activism in New York and the rest of the country is one way of fingering what makes the city unique, in that it is perceived, not just is, but is perceived in the rest of the country as a hotbed of activism. All the wrong kinds of people are here, you know, radicals, black people, immigrants, people who drink when prohibition laws have been passed, immigrants who we shouldn't have let in the first place, Tammany Hall, gangsters, you know, this cauldron of people at odds with the real America. Now, the problem with this is, A, the rest of the country also secretly, or not so secretly, adores New York City. I mean, Henry Ford rails at the fact that jazz music, black music, infiltrating and subverting the rest of the country, is flowing out of New York and radio, and people should go back to square dancing, you know, in barns and hay and all that. But the fact of the matter is people are leaving the countryside in droves in the 10s and 20s because they're desperate to get to New York City. So there's that weird combination of attraction and repulsion. The other thing to keep in mind is that the opponents to many of these movements for social change are not out in the country only, they're in New York also. And that's why I'm stressing the fact that activism isn't, in fact, although we use it casually as a phenomenon of change, it isn't that. It just means a group of people organized to promote a cause or a position. So the center place of eugenicism, for instance, the notion that the United States was a Protestant, white country, and it was being undermined by the slow drip, drip, and then the quick torrents of the wrong kinds of people pouring into the city. The headquarters for eugenics, the headquarters for racist anthropology, was the Museum of Natural History. The people who ran that and who ran the Bronx Zoo were the central intellectual bastion, which was in fact supporting and legitimating the opposition to immigration. The opponents of that, like LaGuardia, who was, you know, a little bit of every imaginable ethnicity, was in fact in Congress the person who was fighting against that. And Franz Boas, who was the premier anthropologist, who is in fact going to blow to smithereens the entire intellectual structure on which racist thinking rests. It's not true that there's a hierarchy that runs from savagery through barbarism up through sort of okay Mediterranean people up to Aryans, and even higher the Aryan anthropologists who are writing this book. He comes in and he just blasts this and he says there is no hierarchy, no natural evolution. There is a multiplicity of cultures, of people adjusting to whatever environments they happen to live in. They're not primitive. They are, in fact, brilliant in their relationship to their particular environment. It's no surprise that Boas goes on to become one of the leading anti-fascist, anti-Nazi spokespeople in the 1930s. So it's both that New York radicals are perceived to have, and to some extent actually are attacking and resisting and responding to the country, but it's also an internal battle, most famously between Wall Street and organized labor, or Wall Street and the, you know, people who are talking about provision of social goods as a matter of right.